Welcome to Master of Creations, aka Killercuts 305 on IG. I'm about to get into this shadow fade tutorial. I start by brushing the hair out. I do this so that the hair could be as even as possible during the fading process, and it also makes it a lot less effortless. My first step, with the clipper blade all the way open, I set my transition line. I start by going up to the area where my fade transition will start, and I'll continue this process all the way around the customer's head. I will now take a number 2 guard and begin cutting in an upward motion, making sure not to go too far into the crown of the customer's head so that we can have more hair to work with doing the transition and make sure that it's an even and clean looking fade. With the same number 2 guard, I begin performing a few downward strokes. What this does is it evens out the transition, it knocks the excess bulk out, and allows you to see if there's any dark spots or bulks, as we call them, that require any additional attention. And I'll show you how to get those out in the next step. I've now switched from my number 2 guard to a 1.5 guard. I start with a downward motion in order to get a clean area to work with, so that when I begin my upward sweeps, the hair will be as even as possible and there will be not a lot of inconsistency to make the fade as smooth as possible. At this point, I'm switching to a half guard. And in the same fashion that I did with no guard and the blade open, I'm performing those same steps to create the second transition line. Making sure to stay as even and consistent as possible during this step. The purpose of this is to make sure that the fade comes out looking cleaner and neater, and it also minimizes the amount of work that it takes to get the transition lines out. Now with my half guard closed, I'm beginning to work my first transition line out. I'm making sure not to apply too much pressure, because if you apply too much pressure, you'll inadvertently create another line. Stay as light as possible. Don't worry if it's not working it all the way out, because there'll be a following step that will remove any excess line that's left after you complete this step. This step, with no guard and the leader all the way open, I begin to work out any excess hair that was left after my previous step. I take some downward strokes because, as previously stated, this smooths the hair out and gives you a better area to work with when knocking out lines or making your fade transition as clean as possible. Now with my 1.5 guard, I'm working out my second transition line. I start with the lever all the way open to make sure that I'm not taking off too much hair. And as stated in the previous step, I'm going as light as possible so that I'm not creating an additional line, or I'm not going too far into the crown of the customer's head. We want to keep as much hair around the crown as possible, because because it makes the transition look so much smoother. Downward strokes with my 1.5 guard is laying the hair down, also knocking off any excess bulk, so that as I begin my transition upward, I have a smooth area to work with, and I can see how much more work I have left to be done in order to get the desired fade that I'm looking for. Sometimes you'll see me using the edge of the clipper blade during the fading process. This is a technique called feathering. What that does is any areas of excess bulk or anything that's inconsistent in your transition, it makes it easy to take those areas out without creating other lines or creating damage to the fade. Now it's time for me to take my number 1 guard and completely smooth my fade out and remove any excess transition lines that have been left in the previous steps. As in the previous 2 steps, I start by going downwards to create a smooth area to work with. And I take my time with light strokes and I go up into the dark areas without going too high, just staying close to the edge as possible. Using the feathering technique as well. At this point, the fade is pretty much complete. I will apply a final step by removing the clipper guard, and with the lever open, I will begin feathering any inconsistencies that I see in the fade. This step is only advisable to someone who has confidence with holding the clippers, as it can mess up everything that you worked for so far if you're not conscious of what you're doing. But if you feel confident, go ahead and give it a try. My last fading step is creating a fade to bald transition on the bottom of my fades. This is just a personal touch that I like to add. It isn't necessary. It all depends on you as a barber. But if it's something that you're interested in doing, you start by creating a bald transition line by clearing off all the hair underneath the nape of the neck up to about right halfway at the ear line. And once you complete this step, you take your clippers with no guard and the lever halfway open, and you begin fading out the bottom line. This is the cleanup before the lineup. At this point, I take my pick and I pick the hair all the way around the crown of the customer's head. This way I'll be able to take my clippers and remove any excess bulks so that it can be a smooth transition up into the top of the customer's hair. With my clipper lever all the way closed and no guard on my clippers, I begin by lightly sweeping away any excess hair that might be causing a blemish in my transition so that it can look as clean as possible. Apply that line. I like to keep my line as far out as possible, trying not to do any pushback, and as even as possible, trying to make sure that everything is consistent from side to side. I make sure that my clippers are adjusted not too sharp so that they don't irritate my customer's skin, and I also like to make sure that the customer's skin is clean prior to applying the clippers to make sure that it cuts the hair evenly and there's not any resistance from the blades. Dirt and oil cause resistance in the clipper blade sometimes. Prior to the lineup, I like to apply an astringent to the customer's skin. If I don't have any available, I'll apply alcohol and I wipe the customer's skin clean. Also, depending on the texture of the customer's hair, I apply a light spritz to lay the hair down and keep it even so that it gives me a crispy, clean, even line all the way around. What I'm doing right now is called debulking. It's a clipper over comb technique. I run the clippers through the customer's hair, staying not too close to the scalp, and I take the clippers and I use it to make sure that I knock off any excess hair to make sure that it's as even as possible before I apply that front line. This will ensure that when you apply the front line, those comb over hairs that can make your line look fuzzy or not as clean won't appear afterwards. This will make sure that the customer's haircut appears to last a lot longer. start with the razor, I like to apply a light coating of a water and conditioner mixture that I like to use. What this does is it makes sure that the blade glides easily, but also that I can see where the blade is stopping so that I don't go past the original line that I created with the clippers. The conditioner in the water allows the blade to glide smoothly over the customer's skin without causing any irritation. Damp hair lays down, and it also is easier to grip with the razor blade, so it makes it to where you can create a sharp line with fewer passes. To finish off, I apply my conditioning spray and a curl sponge. I hope everybody found this video informative. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave a comment in the comments section. I will respond. I'll be posting more videos with whatever content I see I have the most requests for. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.